First of all, I'd like to say thanks to everybody who's here today. It's been, we sent the invitation out late Friday. We got great response. So again, thank you for coming out and supporting this event. One thing we all know about our community is our community rallies when we need them. So thank you so much. I also want to thank all of those who have helped with the site visit today. We have about 60 people involved in the site visit. So if you want to look at a kind of Rubik's Cube and moving pieces, certainly today we've had a lot of fun, we've had a lot of great experiences and a lot of pieces, but all of the volunteers and those who have helped make this such a success, we want to say thanks to all of you. We just couldn't do it without the volunteers. We've always had a strength for volunteers in Utah, and that continues to shine through today. And we want to welcome our special guests. So we're really excited to have our guests from the United States Olympic Committee here and spend some time with them today. I've got a question I've been getting the last week, and they'll say, what are you going to do? Where are you going to go? Tell me about the site visit. So I have a little travel log. I want to give you just some insight on what we did today. And we opened up at the Grand American, had some meetings. We got on the road almost on time. 8:30 was the start time. We got on about 8:40. We worked our way along I-215 past the Maverick Center and talked about the Maverick Center as we drove along. We then worked our way out to Kearns, to the Olympic Oval, saw all the great stuff that Colin and his team's doing there, all the things going on. Athletes were there. We got in the car. We drove all the way up to Park City, had a chance to look at all of the great things going on at the Olympic Park, meet the public officials from that area, see the athletes, see things going on in Park City, in the Olympic Park. And we made it down here in 3 hours. Where else? Governor, your security detail drove exactly on the speed limit too. They didn't go over 65, I assure you of that. So we made it here in 3 hours. Where else could you take a tour in a major city and go that far, that many places in 3 hours? I don't think there's anywhere that you could do that. Now I want to introduce our guests who are with us today, and we're part of the Olympic family. Hosting the games will mean we're always part of the Olympic family. Some of the people that we're working with today have been here, were here during the games, some not. So it's a chance to showcase Utah, to make sure that the message that we're ready, willing, and able is still resonating. And we think it does. First of all, I'd like to introduce Larry Probst, who's the chairman of the board. Larry, thank you for coming. We appreciate all your leadership, and we know you guys are really, really busy, and to spend the day with us, we really appreciate that. Thank you. Next, Suzanne Lyons, right here. And she is the chair-elect coming in, and we've had a chance to be in the car with all of our guests today and hear about the great things that they've been doing and some of the things that are going on. So, Susan, thank you for coming. We appreciate you being here. And Sarah Hirschland, back there. Sarah. Sarah is the CEO, just came on in August and has been doing a stellar job. Sarah, thank you for being here with us today. Then we have Patrick Sandusky. Where's Patrick? Patrick's been here a number of times, media events, and he's the guy everybody goes to with government affairs, media, external relations, has done just a terrific job over the years. And then Chris Sullivan. Where's Chris? There's Chris. I've known Chris for 20 years, and actually he used to live by me, poor guy, and has done a terrific job and plays a key role in the bid process and protocol. And so we have 5 terrific people here with us for the United States Olympic Committee, and we couldn't appreciate them being here more. Let's give them a round of applause. And now I'm going to go through and talk a little bit about our agenda today. I think you have it in front of you, our run of show. First, we're going to hear from Ruth Watkins. And President Watkins has done a great job up here. Imagine You is the theme, right? And that's kind of like our site visit. We're talking about, we're reimagining Utah since 2002. There's lots of things going on. Things are different. Great investment being made in the state into our venues, and terrific things taking place in infrastructure. What happened in 2002 was unbelievable, but what's happening now is terrific. All sorts of new things. We figure about $500 to $600 million in investment into our winter sports venues and into our infrastructure. There's no one else doing that. So again, President, we'll hear from you after me, and I'm going to introduce the rest of the speakers so I don't have to get up and down. And then we're going to be honored to hear from our Salt Lake City mayor right here. And she has done a terrific, terrific job at really putting her arms around this Olympic legacy effort and playing a leadership role. She loves the Olympics. We had a planning meeting 2 weeks ago, right? And so, you know, I've heard of casual Fridays, but the mayor shows up in sweatpants and a jersey, a hockey jersey. And it was Halloween, and so she had a Cami Granato hockey jersey that she was wearing thinking about the 2002 games, and is so excited about this opportunity. Mayor, thanks for your support. Thanks for all you're doing. We couldn't have done this without you. Then Governor Herbert, who's been a tremendous supporter of all that we've been doing in sports, in Olympics. A dear friend, I've known him for many, many years. We've been known to get out and hit the ball around a time or two, the little white one on the golf course and the tennis ball. Again, I think, Governor, in 2012, you were coming down from Park City, and I called you on your cell phone, and I said, we've got to get an exploratory committee together to start looking at the Olympics. You remember that? You were coming down the mountains and talked about the need for us to start becoming ready, willing, and able. And so, great supporter of ours, a dear friend, and we really, really appreciate your support. And then we're going to hear from Sarah Hirschland. And Sarah, we've just introduced her, again, a bright light. She's going to do great things at the USOC, and we've got tremendous confidence. It's been fun getting to know her, so we look forward to hearing from her. And then, where's Shannon? Shannon's right here. So if somebody can light up a room, Shannon Barkey can. And so having our athletes are so important. There wouldn't be any games without our athletes. There wouldn't be games. And so having our Olympic and Paralympic athletes here and taking part is critical. It's something that is the right thing to do. They all have stories. You know, they all want to win, but their perseverance, their commitment, all that they're doing to succeed, not only in athletics but life, each of us see those stories and hear them. But Shannon will speak to us. Now, we have a non-Olympian right next to her, Tony Finau. I need to give a shout out to Tony. You could play golf in the Olympics. It's USA Golf, right? And so, while Tony's not a current Olympian, he certainly could be in some point in time, and again, a Ryder Cup member this year representing the United States. So I'd like to introduce President Watkins at this time, and we'll hear some remarks from the President.
Wow, I'm so pleased to be able to welcome you to the University of Utah. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. This is such an exciting opportunity for the university. We're thrilled to be part of this discussion to support Salt Lake's bid to host the Olympic and Paralympic Games. The U takes great pride in our past and our history as the centerpiece of the 2002 Olympics, as home of the Athletic Village, opening and closing ceremonies, and the Olympic Flame. The 2002 Games were transformative for our campus and for our community. What an amazing legacy here at the University of Utah and in Salt Lake City and beyond. We are ready and we are excited to serve in this capacity again in the future. Our campus will be ready to accommodate the more than 4,000 athletes who participate in the Winter Olympic Games with excellent housing and training facilities, including accessible housing for Paralympic athletes. If you look around our campus, quite a lot has changed since 2002. So we were ready then, and we are more ready now. Our new George S. Eccles Student Life Center will enhance the athletes' experience of being on our campus. We offer a remarkable location, one that is secure and provides easy access to competition venues throughout the Valley and Salt Lake's amenities. Our Rice-Eccles Stadium can be put into service to create a magical welcome to the world, as it did in 2002 for the opening and closing ceremonies. The stadium is the home of the venue for our football team, and it also hosts many, many major sporting and entertainment events, and it has hosted many since the Olympics. This great venue is a modern facility that has been continually upgraded and enlarged to meet demand. Just this morning, and some could say it was a remarkable genius in timing, we announced plans to seek bonding to expand the south end zone and locker facilities, which, as we progress through approvals, will increase our seating capacity to a bit more than 51,000 and make other improvements that would be in place well in time for Winter Olympic Games. Again, thank you for visiting our campus. It's a pleasure to host you here. It's a delight to be able to look around at our beautiful facility and our growing, vibrant campus. I want to enthusiastically endorse Salt Lake City's bid, and I want you to know that the University of Utah stands ready to be a partner in this endeavor. Thanks so much for the opportunity to be with you today.
Well, thank you. It's been a great day, and I love looking around this room, and much gratitude to everyone who showed up. That invitation came very late, but I'm very pleased to see so many of you who made this happen today. I wasn't just wearing a hockey jersey, it was Camry Granado. Yeah. So, you know, I just want that to be set straight. But I want to join Governor Herbert and Dr. Watkins in welcoming our esteemed guests from the United States Olympic Committee to Salt Lake City. We've had some time to get to know each other on this visit, and I hope you've liked what you've seen so far in your tour, and hopefully you'll enjoy your afternoon as well. I think it's clear that Salt Lake City and Utah are excited and very accommodating in our partnerships that we have built here for a future Winter Games. I am often asked what my favorite part of being the mayor of Salt Lake City is, and I can honestly say that it is about representing residents who are vibrant and optimistic and forward-thinking. These values help drive how we build our city for the future for all people, and these values help us invest in a transit network to make it easier to get in and around Salt Lake City, a city that built one of the largest Broadway theaters in the nation, making us a destination for arts and culture and provides for rich experiences here. A city that is prepared to build upon our existing convention center by adding a new convention hotel, making Salt Lake City an even better location for welcoming the world. And in August of next year, we are excited to be hosting the United Nations NGO Conference in downtown Salt Lake City. We will be welcoming them for a 3-day conference. It is the first time that NGO Conference has left New York City and put its footprint on U.S. soil. To aid the city in capitalizing on all of the opportunities, Salt Lake City is 670 days away, but who's counting, from opening phase 1 at our brand-new $3.6 billion airport. And I will say to you that in that investment, there has not been one taxpayer dollar, that this has really been a partnership and a very strategic revenue-saving team that Salt Lake City has built. This rebuild is more than a decade in the making, and a project that is made possible for all of us to host a future games. We just recently worked with our biggest partner, Delta, to make sure that we are doubling our gates so those who are traveling globally can get through the international airport even easier. With the new airport, passengers will see greater convenience, transit that comes right up to the airport building, less wait time on the tarmac, upgraded technology, and of course, we will see quick movement through our customs. This is truly an exciting opportunity for Salt Lake City and Utah, and I am feeling the heightened excitement around today and our opportunity to spend time with the USOC members. Just so you have some greater understanding about the airport, our airport will be completely brand new. It will be the only international airport in America that is completely brand new, and it will be ready by 2024. So we are very excited about how much investing our community is doing, both locally and with the governor's support, on transportation and making sure that we can provide a games that allows for people to get around and enjoy those games. We are incredibly proud to be a part of the Olympic family, and I think you are witnessing that we feel like this is in our DNA. And we certainly are passing it on from generation to generation. And I am one of those mothers who sometimes puts her Olympic jacket on from 2002, and I take my boys out skiing, and we talk about what happened during those Olympic Games and what Mom is working on for their own experience. So as a mother of 2 young sons, I understand the honor of hosting a future games and that it is about inspiring our youth. I'm confident if selected, my sons and I, Jack and Archie, and young people around this region, including Lindsay Woodbury, who was on our tour today, will not only live up to the legacy we have set, but will far surpass it. I'm very excited, and thank you for giving this opportunity to us. We look forward to continuing our dialogue.
Well, thank you, Mayor, and thanks to all of you for being here. As I look out in the audience, I know we have a lot of special guests here, people who've been involved in the Olympics in the past, in the present, and are going to be involved in the future. And so we're honored to have you here in the state of Utah. I was just making some notes down at the table, and the first thing I thought about was team. We're here in a very team setting. University of Utah, again, is a good example of success because the team, the people, and the players work together so very well. And as each person plays their role, we advance the football down the field and we score touchdowns. As I look back at our successes here in Utah, and right now Utah, I love to tout the successes of Utah. We have so many of them. We're doing very well because we have a good team. We have people that understand the roles and work together in a very significant spirit of collaboration and cooperation. In fact, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce said in analyzing the 50 states of America said the spirit of collaboration and cooperation is found in greater abundance in Utah than any state in America today. That is a secret ingredient of how we've been successful in so many different areas, and certainly how we had the success in 2002 as we hosted what most people would say is the greatest Winter Olympics, the most successful Winter Olympics of all time. We have here legislators with us that have been part of that in the past. Where's President Niederhauser? I saw him here. Again, taking over Al Mansell, who helped us start the Sports Commission. Jeff, you've already heard from. Our Sports Commission, we have coined the phrase, the state of sport. It's not just a slogan, it's really a way of life. It's part of the culture of Utah. Healthy outdoor recreation, living, exercise. And we, in fact, believe in that as a way of life. And the Olympics really reflect Utah's culture and vice versa. So we appreciate those who've been part of this team effort. Our Olympians, which are here with us, that have experienced this firsthand, want to make sure that others have the opportunity. I appreciate the mayor talking about our two sons. We have over 300,000 young men, young boys, and young girls, there will soon be young men and young women, that have had that experience of basking in the event of the 2002 Olympics, that have been inspired themselves to say, what can I do? What can I do to make my mark in the world out there in the field of sport? Fraser Bullock here has been a part of the team, has been part of the IOC for many years, brings the experience of being the COO of the 2002 Winter Olympics. Again, when you look at us, you look at a team that's ready, able, and willing, has the experience and the background to make sure that we put on as good of Olympics in the future as we did in 2002. Let me just make a couple of other things and then I'll sit down. One, not only have we got a good team here, but we have the support of the community. It's hard to be successful in any adventure if you don't have the support of those who you represent. By actual polling, we have 83% of the people of Utah want us to do it again. They liked what they saw in 2002 and say, let's do it again. And to have that kind of support, I think, is almost unheard of on any issue. You know, no matter what the issue is in politics, but to have that kind of support for having a Olympics opportunity in the future is remarkable support from the electorate out there. We already have the venues in place, so you've been to see some of them, and maybe you'll see all of them, I hope. But not only are they in place, but they're in good shape. We may have to burnish them a little bit and spruce them up, but we can do that. You've already heard from the mayor about our new airport. You cannot find another place where you can land in an international airport and be up skiing at the venues in less than an hour. I have governors that don't believe it until we bring them here and we bring them up to take them up to Deer Valley and get them on skis and push them down the slopes in less than an hour. Then they believe it. They come here every March at the tail end of our ski season just because it's so convenient. That's an aspect that sometimes is, I'm sure, not overlooked by the committee here, Larry and your team, but something that is going to help it to be successful. The fact you can have access to the venues in a very easy way. Many of our Winter Olympians train here. Indeed, many of them call Utah home now. So they'll be able to participate in their own backyard, give us a leg up on medals. So again, the fact that we've transitioned to an Olympic state and has such widespread appeal, not only with the public, but with the athletes themselves, I think is a remarkable thing. Last but not least, in the Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, it might be of interest for you to know that Salt Lake City led the viewing public of all the cities in America watching the Winter Olympics on television. It shows we really do have an interest in sport. Why we're called Utah, the state of sport, right, Jeff? Utah, the state of sport. And again, I think that shows our interest in continuing this effort here in the future. Last but not least, I mentioned culture. We have this culture of volunteerism. I know one of the things that Mitt Romney, now Senator-elect Mitt Romney, says when he came here to do the Olympics in 2002, how do we get all this done? How do you afford, number one, to do it? But how do you get the support that's necessary to make the venues attractive, friendly, to make sure that people have a good experience, the spectators as well as the athletes? And the overwhelming response of people saying, what can I do to help? Our volunteers in the thousands. In fact, we had twice as many people that wanted to volunteer to help as they had positions open. That, again, is somewhat unique with the culture. Utah is #1 in America when it comes to volunteerism. We're over 50% of our people volunteer in some form or fashion. Second place isn't all that close, but that's, again, part of the culture of Utah. So, again, as we finish up my presentation here, again, the culture is conducive to us to be able to host a Winter Olympics again. We have the venues. We have the support of the people. We not only have the know-how, but we have the do-how. We know how to put on, we've done it before, and we can do it again, and we'll do it even better than we did it in 2002. This is a cooperation between public, government, and the private sector, and the organizations, the stakeholders. As we work together in good faith, we can put on a spectacular Olympics here in Utah. And I hope that as you leave, again, Larry and your team, and the responsibility you have of analyzing and deciding where is the best place to go. Once all the facts are in, all the facts on the table, I hope you'll agree with us here in Utah. The Utah is not only ready, able, and willing to host a future Winter Olympics game, but in fact, we are the best place in America, probably the best place in the world to host a Winter Olympics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Governor, and may I just ask, can I plagiarize do how? That's a new one to me, but I like it, if I may. I will give credit where credit is due when I use the term we have the do how. I like that a lot. So I think in speaking of credit where credit is due, perhaps we should start, those of you who live here every day may forget every morning to wake up and thank Mother Nature. But it is not lost on us today, those of us who are visiting, that Mother Nature has blessed this place. And so thanks to Mother Nature, not only for the blue sky today, but for what is a fantastic location and just spectacular geography that you're all incredibly blessed to be a part of. Let me say thank you for the opportunity to be here. It's been a very special day so far, and we're only at lunch, but it really is, it's a pleasure for us to be here as we continue our due diligence. The mayor described it as a dialogue, and that's really what it is. It's an exploration process. It's a dialogue, but it is not lost on us the work that's involved in that and the preparation that has gone into not just what's happened today, but what has happened in this community for decades in support of what we do and who we are and the values we represent in sport. And so thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you for what you've done for decades, and thank you for what you will continue to do for decades. We're appreciative. The second thing I want to do is thank the athletes in the room. So each venue we've been to today has been in its own right a spectacular venue and a spectacular building, but we all know that buildings are just buildings, and without people, they are just structures. But everywhere we've been, it's the people who bring them to life. And we've seen athletes who have had incredible success and accomplishment, some of them here at the Winter Games, others in other locations around the world, but to each one has come back here to pay it forward. And so I hope you'll all join me in just saying thank you to the athletes in the room who are paying it forward. We are thrilled that you've chosen to continue this process and to consider hosting an Olympic Games again. It is not lost on us that that is not a given and that it is a huge sacrifice from a community, so thank you for your willingness to not only do it once, but to consider doing it yet again. Salt Lake exhibits a strong legacy. We've seen it today, we've felt it today. The legacy that's been left behind that is still real in this community is palpable. It is spread not just in this community, but it is spread across the country and, quite frankly, as you suggested, around the world. And that's something that you all should be incredibly proud of. It's something that we're incredibly proud to be part of, and we know that it takes a village and it's a partnership, and we're really proud of what we've seen today, what we continue to feel from this community, and what we know, regardless of whether we make a determination to bid for another Winter Games, that will live here, and that's really important to us. So thank you for the commitment, not just to this process, but to the movement and to the spirit of the movement for long time to come, decades to come. We also know that you know how to do this well. You've referenced, and all of you have made remarks as to why. You've given us the proof points. You've shown us the venues. You've shown us that it's still an active part of this community, and you've also shown us the things that are different from 2002 and that are better, and the things that are continuing to get better. And so we understand that this is a community that knows how to host an Olympic Games and a Paralympic Games, and we appreciate that and we recognize that. We believe you're uniquely positioned to deliver against a sustainable games, a fiscally responsible games, and also a games that's focused on the experience for the athletes, which at the end of the day is the single most important thing. It is the reason we're here. And so we thank you for focusing on those issues, which fundamentally are the core issues that are the right things to be focused on as we talk about this process. We look forward to a bit of a day left to come. We've seen a lot already. We'll continue to see a few more things. And I want to thank all those of you who've been involved in putting together what has been a wonderful day and will be a wonderful day for us. There are a lot of people behind the scenes. Many of you are in the room. Many of them are not in the room. So please take our thank yous back to those who've been doing so much work. It really is, it's a spectacular opportunity. It's a spectacular day. We cram a lot into 12 hours, if you will, but we know that that is work that has taken weeks and weeks, and we're appreciative of everyone. President Watkins, thank you for hosting us for lunch. It's lovely to be here. I will admit that I did take a picture doing this. My alma mater may never forgive me, but we're happy to be here. So whether or not we decide to bid, we're grateful. As all of you know, the decision to bid is not one any of us take lightly. It is a lot of work, and you want to make sure that you are setting yourselves up for a successful outcome. And so we appreciate the partnership, and we appreciate the recognition of that as we go forward. There are many people involved, but before I step down, there are a few very special people that we want to thank for your support, for your leadership, and I'm going to ask Larry and Suzanne to come up and join me in presenting our gratitude. First, Governor Herbert, we're enormously grateful, and if you would, we'd like to give you a token of our appreciation for the work that's been done and the commitment to the Olympic and Paralympic movement. Mayor Biskupski, your commitment and leadership in the community is spectacular, and I love the Halloween costume. I, too, wore a Halloween costume to work on Halloween, and Tony, you'll appreciate this. I went as the late, great Payne Stewart in a bit of an homage to my roots in golf. Thank you. Senate President Niederhauser, thank you for your commitment. Thank you for the time today. I've really enjoyed the opportunity to learn more about the city and surroundings and the commitment to outdoor life. Jeff Robbins, you've clearly done your job if this is the city and state of sport. Thank you for all of your commitment. And last but not least, Fraser Bullock, who you've heard referenced, who is no stranger to the Olympic and Paralympic family and understands what we do maybe as well as anyone, and has been a treasure to me as I'm new in this role. I can't thank you enough for that. And to all those of you who made time to join us for lunch, it's spectacular. It's very clear that we are in good company and we have a lot of friends in this movement. So thank you for being here for lunch and enjoying this. We're excited to continue to work with all of you, and what is meant to be will be.
Hi, everybody. Welcome. Are you enjoying? Well, first of all, I just want to give you a big Olympic hug, because here in Salt Lake, we love to hug, and we love the Olympics. So from me to you, this is my big Olympic hug. I was so lucky to compete in the sport of freestyle mogul skiing. I know a lot of people love mogul skiing. It's their favorite. So I embrace all those people. But I was lucky enough to compete in 3 Olympic Games. My first one was here in Salt Lake City in 2002, where I got to win America's first medal, which is really, really incredible. Thank you. I got to compete in Torino, Italy in 2006, and then again in Vancouver in 2010, I won a bronze medal. So it was absolutely an incredible career, but I just have to begin back. I moved to Salt Lake City in 1998 in hopes of making the U.S. ski team. I didn't even know at that point that the Olympics were possible. And I moved here for a couple reasons. One, this was where the U.S. ski team was headquartered. And two, it was far enough away from Lake Tahoe that my parents could get on an airplane, but they couldn't come visit me every day. So I was far enough away. And then it had this fantastic university. And I will never forget the first time that I walked in as a Ute like this. I was in the Ute section, I was cheering so loud, and we came in, and I looked at the stadium, and I thought, oh my gosh. It brought tears to my eyes to think that maybe in 4 years, if I worked hard enough and if I believed hard enough, that I might be able to walk into this very stadium as a member of Team USA. And that was the only thing that I could think about from that moment forward. Every time that I stepped into the gym, every time that I stepped out onto the slopes, that I could walk in as a part of Team USA. And 4 years later, it was just the coolest thing. I mean, we were with all of our teammates, and some of them are here today, and I'll never forget, because when you're the host country, you get to walk in last, right? And you hear everybody's applause as all the other countries are coming in. And when you walk in as Team USA for the United States of America, everybody just went crazy. And I couldn't even hear my teammates standing next to me because it was so loud. And all of a sudden, this spirit that was in this stadium just lifted me up like I have never, ever felt in my whole life. And I was so thankful to be a part of that moment. And I was so lucky the very next day, I got to compete on the first day before the nerves could really set in. And as I stood in that gate up at Deer Valley, that was where our venue was, I looked out at the beautiful sky up above. It was a bluebird day, and all the mountains with 3 feet of fresh of the world's greatest snow, the greatest snow on earth. I mean, let's be honest, right? And I saw all the Team USA flags and my family, and then the task that I had at hand. And to be able to go from point A to point B with a whole field of moguls and jumps that just scare me just thinking about it. But I was that girl in the gate that had to perform and do it. And as I crossed that finish line and was able to bring home a silver medal and get my medal down here at the Medals Plaza and watch the flag being raised, it was such an honor. And I got to do it in another 2 Olympics and win another Olympic medal, but that moment I will never forget. And as an athlete now, you know, I kept my head down and worked as hard as I could. And when I retired, I really got to see how this city has embraced the Olympic spirit. I mean, Jackie, right? Every winter I see all of the volunteers that have the jackets, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's so many options of jackets for you to wear, and you still wear the 2002 jacket, and they wear it so proudly. It's so cool. You know, they're like, oh my gosh, we were at your event. It was so amazing. So to see all of the volunteers and the love that are in this community, all of the athletes that still give back and still live here. I mean, I could have moved back, I could have moved everywhere, and I chose to live here, and I still live here 20 years later. To be able to give back to all the venues that we have, pay it forward to that next group of athletes. I'm now a mother of 2, and to see my daughter be able to watch the up-and-coming athletes that are still competing in our venues, and be able to tell them, this is where Derek Parra, this is where Apollo Ono won Olympic medals in 2002, and to inspire them to have their Olympic dreams of their own. It really, really means a lot. We have huge events here. At Deer Valley, there's World Cups every single year, and we actually have the World Championships that are going to be held there this year. So we're not just putting on events, we're putting on world-class events, and I'm really, really proud of that. So I hope that my Olympic sparkle and spirit that I have from 2002, that we can pay that forward for many generations to come. And people that now, when I go visit schools, I used to be able to talk to elementary school kids, and then intermediate school kids, high school kids. Now they're graduates of college that remember 2002. So I want to be able to go back and visit elementary schools and tell them about the Olympics that we just hosted. So I'll come out of retirement. We got to make it happen. No, I'm just kidding. I won't come out of retirement. But I just hope that we get it back because, oh my gosh, this is a community that loves the Olympics, and we need to keep it here. So thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your tour. And we will knock your socks off, and we will do how, know how. We will get it done how, okay? So thank you very much.
Well, I'm glad that Shannon doesn't get excited. You know, I don't know, when you get really excited, I'm not sure what it looks like, but thank you, and I think, Governor, you're going to have to fight Sarah for the trademark of that name. I'm not sure what it is still. Yes, okay, so we may have to trademark that. Now, I also want to recognize our team. Of course, the mayor's been terrific, the governor, and I help represent him in this process. Fraser Bullock has been wonderful. Wayne Niederhauser. So this is kind of the core group who have helped move this along. And the governor said we're a team. We're not only a team, but we're united as a team. And you won't find any place, anywhere, that the team is as united as we are. Fraser, thank you. Wayne, Governor, Mayor. We look forward to the rest of the day with our guests from the USOC, and hopefully it'll be fruitful for you guys. Thanks to everybody who came today. We appreciate all your support, your friendship. A few housekeeping pieces. We're going to ask our core group and our USOC guests to go over to the corner because we've got some meetings and some business we have to do. Also, the media, we've asked them not to interview. We just don't have time because we're pressed for time right now and we're a little bit behind. So we appreciate them being here. We certainly want transparency in this process, but we just won't have the time for interviews. So thank you, everyone. We appreciate all you're doing, and go Utes.